Mold in your cosmetics is a major health concern. It's a huge red flag because it can cause infections, allergic reactions, and skin irritation. And somewhat worryingly and strangely, it seems to be becoming an increasingly more common issue in recent years, despite all the science that we have, with many well-known brands issuing recalls and being slammed online by customers who bought moldy or contaminated product. And if that product lacks enough preservatives or the right kind of preservatives, it's more likely to become contaminated, right? Product packaging can also play a huge part in the growth of mold. Cosmetics in open jars or pots that require you to use your fingers dipping in and out are more prone to contamination. Once exposed to air, water, or bacteria from your hands, microbes can grow if preservatives are inadequate in that product. So it's important to make sure things like your hands are clean before you start applying your products, not running the dropper of a serum on your face. If not, you could be transferring bacteria from your skin into your products, increasing the likelihood of mold.
It is one of the most well-studied ingredients, so a lot of people claim that, oh, these more natural preservatives are better, but all that is that those natural preservatives are less studied and we don't know as much about them. So people assume that because we know less about them, they're safer, and really that's not true. We actually don't have a lot of data on preservative alternatives, some of them anyways.
Something that you may have seen on product labels is this whole preservative-free kind of marketing tactic, and I'm really not a fan of the whole anything-free marketing because it just creates a lot of fear-mongering around that specific ingredient that it's talking about. So if I see a product that says preservative-free, well, does that mean that preservatives are bad? Like, why are they claiming that it's preservative-free? Is it because that's a bad thing to have preservatives present? So it creates this kind of misconception in the consumer's mind that if something is free of something, that means it's better than a product that actually contains, you know, a preservative, for example. Preservative-free products generally actually do have preservatives in them. They just use ingredients that also fall under another class of, you know, function, so they can say that it's not in there as a preservative, it's in there as an emollient or as a humectant or serving another purpose, essentially.
We're gonna go through those preservatives actually. Parabens have been widely used in cosmetics for decades, first being used around 100 years ago, but the clean beauty movement has vilified parabens due to some studies claiming that parabens can act like hormone estrogen, which is linked to breast cancer. However, these claims are based on a flawed and inconclusive study, mostly carried out in rats and using ridiculously large amounts of parabens, I believe injected into the rats as well, because this is also not how we use parabens. And causing cancer has clearly been blown massively out of proportion. In an article by Allure, Dr. Timothy Rebeck, a professor of cancer prevention at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, said if you're worried about cancer, there are many lifestyle changes you can make to mitigate your risk, and removing parabens is probably not one of them.
You carefully avoid parabens. You check every label, thinking you've dodged a chemical bullet. The word alone, paraben, sounds like a villain, conjuring images of hormone disruption and toxic beauty. But what if the truth isn't so black and white? What if the ingredients replacing parabens are just as questionable, some even worse? This is the story of how fear, misinformation, and marketing hysteria turned one of skincare's most reliable tools into a public enemy, and how the industry rushed to fill that void with under-tested, high-risk alternatives. In the quest for clean beauty, we may have created a bigger mess. Welcome to the preservative paradox. Imagine this, you've just opened a luxurious all-natural face cream. It smells like roses, feels like silk, but within days, before you've even made a dent, there's a bloom of mold dancing across the surface. The texture curdles, the smell goes sour. That's what happens when you remove preservatives. In the skincare world, water is life, but it's also the perfect breeding ground for microbes. Bacteria, yeast, moldavian. These invisible invaders see your cream not as skincare, but as dinner. And they don't just ruin the product, they can ruin your skin. Contaminated cosmetics have caused everything from eye infections to staph outbreaks. Preservatives are our first line of defense. They're not just added to extend shelf life, they're there to protect you. These chemicals work quietly in the background, disrupting bacterial cell walls, interfering with microbial enzymes, preventing reproduction. They make your product safe from the moment it's bottled until the last pump. 80 to 90% of skincare products contain water and require preservation. Without preservatives, even the cleanest lab can't keep your favorite serum safe after it's opened. And we're not talking decades, we're talking weeks, sometimes days. Even those labeled natural or organic aren't immune. In fact, they're often more at risk. Natural extracts, fruit acids, and herbal waters are like a buffet for bacteria.
And although to some on the surface that may sound great, it can actually increase the likelihood of contamination. Natural products, especially those free from synthetic preservatives like parabens, often rely on less effective alternatives, which may not fully protect against mold or bacteria.
The irony, the cleaner the marketing, the more contaminated the product could be without a solid preservative system. Preservatives aren't optional, they're essential, and the push to remove them without understanding their purpose has set the stage for an even more dangerous skincare era. It all started with one word: cancer.
Because this is also not how we use parabens, and it's not the amount of parabens we're exposed to on a daily basis either. This all started back in 2004 when a study was published in the Journal of Applied Toxicology which claimed that parabens had been found in breast tumors. The paper caught the eye of journalists at a wide range of media outlets who started writing articles about how parabens increase your risk of cancer. However, the study didn't make that conclusion at all. But all the journalists, they didn't care. They got their juicy headline and they ran with it. Who cares when they could just make money from it, right? And even if they read the study, they wouldn't be able to understand what the paper was all about anyway, seeing as they weren't scientists. The lead author of the study even came out shortly after all this drama and all this fear-mongering, saying that the aim of the study was not to imply that parabens cause breast cancer at all. They were just trying to work out whether parabens can be measured in human breast tissue. And it sounds like the study
Blogs lit up, and suddenly parabens, once the most trusted preservatives in skincare, were public enemy number one. Accusations flew: hormone disruption, endocrine interference, even breast tumors. Consumers panicked, brands scrambled, shelves emptied of anything ending in paraben. But here's the truth no one wanted to admit: the science was never clear-cut. Parabens had been used for over 80 years. Methylparaben, propylparaben, butylparaben. Their job was simple: prevent microbial growth. Their toxicity was low, their allergenic potential rare. They were cheap, effective, and well studied. Then came a 2004 study that changed everything. Researchers found trace amounts of parabens in breast tumor tissue. The media misread it as causation, not correlation, and the damage was done. The nuance got lost in the outrage. Were parabens found in tumors? Yes. Were they proven to cause those tumors? Number. But in the beauty world, perception is reality. The market pivoted overnight. Paraben-free became a badge of honor, a selling point, a safety signal. But when you remove an ingredient that works, you have to replace it with something else, and that's when the real trouble began. If this gave you something you didn't know, or made you look at your products differently, consider subscribing, only if it brought you value. And if you think more people should see this, give it the thumbs up to let YouTube know it was worth your time. First came MIT and CMIT, methylisothiazolinone and methylchloroisothiazolinone, two synthetic preservatives hailed as the new heroes of the post-paraben era. They were potent, efficient, a few drops could preserve an entire bottle. Too potent as it turned out. By 2013, dermatologists were seeing a surge in allergic reactions, eczema, rashes, contact dermatitis outbreaks so severe, the EU banned MIT and CMIT in all leave-on products. Studies revealed allergy rates skyrocketed between 2005 and 2015. What was once a solution had become a crisis. Next came phenoxyethanol, a clear liquid with a rose-like scent, less aggressive, more tolerable, at least at low concentrations. It became the industry's new favorite. But even phenoxyethanol isn't bulletproof. In high doses, it can cause skin irritation, and studies have linked it to potential neurotoxic effects in infants.
Phenoxyethanol, it's well known and well used because it's effective against bacteria and fungi, and it's relatively stable. is found in the vast majority of paraben-free products, but although it's considered safe at low concentrations under 1%, phenoxyethanol can be irritating for the skin, particularly for sensitive skin. Some studies suggest it can cause allergic reactions, contact dermatitis, and even neurotoxic effects at higher concentrations. It's also not as broad spectrum as parabens, meaning it may not actually protect against all types of bacteria and fungi, potentially leading to quicker spoilage and contamination.
Then there was triclosan. Once found in everything, cleansers, soaps, even toothpaste, it was antimicrobial and highly effective. But then came reports of hormone disruption and bacterial resistance. Countries began banning it. It disappeared from products almost as quickly as it had arrived. Each of these replacements was supposed to be safer, but they weren't tested with the same rigor. They weren't studied for decades, and as they spread across products, their risks emerged, sometimes too late. Post-paraben skincare is a carousel. One preservative swapped for another, round and round. Each new solution comes with side effects, trade-offs, or hidden dangers. Take sodium benzoate, safe in small amounts but under certain conditions, like when mixed with ascorbic acid and heat. It can form benzene, a known carcinogen, or benzyl alcohol. It sounds natural, it's even found in jasmine, but in high concentrations, it's irritating and potentially toxic. Then there's ethyl hexyl glycerin, a multifunctional ingredient used to boost preservative systems. It's often seen as a gentler option, but it too can cause skin sensitivity and allergic reactions. The more you dig, the clearer it becomes. There is no perfect preservative, no miracle solution, only chemists playing a constant balancing act between safety, efficacy, and irritation. Even the most advanced formulas face challenges. Climate, packaging, pH, all can affect preservative performance. One product might stay stable in a lab, but fall apart on a humid bathroom shelf. The quest isn't for the best preservative, it's for the best compromise. Skincare isn't just about what's in a product, it's about what's not and why. Consumers are told to fear parabens, but the truth is, many of the so-called clean alternatives come with their own baggage. And in the race to appear safer, brands often say less, not more. Don't fall for the free from trap. A label that says paraben-free might be hiding something worse. Instead, start asking smarter questions. Is this product tested for sensitive skin? Are the preservatives listed high up on the ingredient list? Is the brand transparent about safety concentrations? Some brands do it right. They use broad-spectrum preservatives at safe doses. They test rigorously. They tell the truth. Others ride the fear wave, swapping ingredients without testing long-term effects, and they count on you not noticing. Preservatives aren't evil, they're necessary. What's dangerous is demonizing science in favor of marketing. Because in the end, the product you fear the least might be the one that hurts you the most. In skincare, the battle isn't good versus evil. It's not parabens versus clean. It's about balance. It's about context. And most of all, it's about knowledge. The more you understand what goes into your skin, the better choices you make.